Okay, so today we're going to talk about gratitude and positive things because the pandemic is creating a lot of fear and anxiety for people. And, I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling like very up and down. Sometimes I'm okay. Sometimes I start to panic a little bit, and then I'm okay, and I get involved in a project, or I talk to somebody and I'm happy again. And it just kind of goes in this up and down sort of um, cycle for me. And for you guys, if you are on the video, just give me a hand raise, or you can figure out how to raise your hand, um, if that's the same for you. Yeah, it's like an up and down sort of cycle. So, what I wanted to do today is really talk about. You can also open your chat on the bottom and see what other people are saying. So in a large group like this, it's great to have the chat so you guys can respond in the chat to everybody so everybody can hear you or hear what you want to say anyway. So today we're going to share a little bit about the positive aspects of the virus. We're not going to really go into any fear-based things that you've heard or rumors or something that you saw on the news, because I think we all need some uplift during this time. And I thought that we could share some of the things that we're feeling. But before we share, I just want to go over some of the mindset shifts that we can have. I think I posted something a little while back on my page about different ways that you can think about the, the pandemic, I guess. So instead of thinking I'm stuck at home, you can think I get to be safe in my home and spend time with my family. I will get sick can shift to I will self-isolate and wash my hands. This will significantly decrease my chances of getting sick. You could think I would run out of items at home during self-isolation, or I have prepared myself for this and will use my items wisely. I have everything I need for now. Everything is shutting down. I'm panicking. To the most important places, such as medical centers, pharmacies, and grocery stores, remain open. There is too much uncertainty right now. Can shift to, while I can't control the situation around me, I can control my actions. Doing breath work, calling loved ones, getting enough sleep and proper nutrition, prayer, and doing activities I love at home will all help during this time. So it's really about how you think about things and how what you tell yourself, your explanatory style. You can tell yourself these fear-based things, or you can learn to flip the script a little bit and tell yourself some other things. But I definitely want to hear from you. Gratitude is a great thing to practice during this time. How many of you have a gratitude journal or a journal of any kind? I see Michelle, Sabra. Having things, being able to write down what you are grateful for is a great practice, because that will also train your brain to scan for the positive things that that are happening instead of the fear-based things. So people with anxiety that are prone to anxiety, this virus is really up-leveling your game, right? So if you're able to deal with this, you'll be able to deal with anything. So having said that, we are going to do a meditation towards the end, but I would like to see if anybody does want to share any kind of thing that has brought you joy during this, or making lemonade out of lemons. What's that expression? Lemons out of lemonade. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. So does anybody want to volunteer and turn off your mute and raise your hand and let me know what good things are happening so you can share it with people and we could all lift each other up? Anybody at all?
I'll share something.
Okay. Vanessa,
Um,
then Cookie.
Hi. So I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 10-and-a-half-year-old son, and it's just been beautiful to see their bond grow. Prior to this, they weren't having much time together. They're both busy in different activities and my daughter's schoolwork and stuff. But they're just really getting along and bonding and hanging out together. We take walks and they go on their scooters. And anyway, it's just really a blessing.
Oh, that's wonderful. It is a great time for family to be together, for better and for worse. I'm sure that there are a lot of beautiful things happening with families, but I'm sure families are also getting on each other's nerves. And, learning to manage and negotiate that is also part of this, right? Improving relationships and, communication. And some kids may be fighting, and sometimes your kids may be getting along beautifully. So I think what we have to do is sort of accept it all, accept the ups and the downs, and be with everything. But Vanessa, that's great. So
And just to qualify, they're still normal kids and they still do fight sometimes. So don't think everything's perfect, but
no, but we are sharing the good here. But I'm also mindful of, other people who may be listening to this also feeling like, things aren't going as well for them for whatever reason. So it's like up and down. I think that we have to learn to be with all of it. So thank you for that. Cookie, you wanted to share?
Um, I'm retired and I live in a country club development, and I've lived a very privileged life. And because of the pandemic, I'm getting more time to actually go for a walk, which I've never had time for because I lied to myself that I didn't have time to exercise. And being in the house, I got to get out, and I walk with my husband in the morning. So that's been a plus. I also eat at home now, which I haven't done in years that much. So I'm eating at home and appreciating eating at home and not wasting the time going to a restaurant and getting ready and putting on makeup. I just put on lipstick for everybody today, though. And I do, after all the years that I've lived on this earth, I do now appreciate our freedoms and the freedom we had living in the United States, and we could go out and we could do whatever we want. And now we're kind of caught at home and self-isolating, and it's different. I really appreciate the freedoms that we did have, and I appreciate life.
I mean, that's such a good point, right? Because we took for granted so many of the freedoms that we had, even to just be able to go out to dinner, right? Or to meet with friends, or to go to the store without fear. It really is a different world today. And I think that one of the positive things that are going to come out of this is that we're not going to take things for granted anymore, right? We're going to hug our friends and our family a little bit tighter, and we're going to love a little bit stronger, and we're going to enjoy our food a little bit more. The you know the teachings around new beginnings and about a beginner's mind, which I teach a lot in my classes, is about seeing things for the first time like you've never seen it before. So if like you're biting into a hamburger, if you're not a vegan, and tasting it for the first, tasting that hamburger like you're eating it for the first time. And I think that we are going to be able to do that a lot more after this is done. We're going to really like taste our food and enjoy our friends, and just the things that we take for granted, we're not going to anymore. So thank you, Cookie. That's really great that you're walking and that you're eating at home and doing things that you haven't done, and having that beginner's mind by doing things differently, because we're so used to the same habits of doing the things over and over again that we don't really try new things. And this is really allowing us to be in a different way. So thank you for sharing that. Michelle.
So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So it's interesting. My son, of the three of us, because he's an only child, is losing his mind. So he's going back to school tomorrow to his house with another housemate who's been, isolated for a couple weeks. But he got very creative because he's incredibly bored. And he decided to go on Instagram and reach out to people who have the same name as him, first and last name, Will Gregson. And he's found all these people from London and Scotland, from all over, and they're communicating with each other. What's going on where you live? What has happening where you live? And they have very similar senses of humor, which is funny. They're between the ages of like 20 and 30, the ones he's found, and he's actually having a really good time communicating with them.
Wow, that is really great. I mean, how creative is that? Something he would have never done before,
No.
and being able to do that. My son also he was taking guitar lessons, and he's been playing so much guitar. I mean, it's not so great for the rest of the family, but he's constantly playing all day. And he brought me into the room, and he actually played me a song, and I said, that was great, who sings it? And he's like, I wrote that song. I'm like, what? He had so much time that he actually wrote a song and played it for me, and it actually sounded great. So I thought it was like Coldplay or something. I had no idea. So it's amazing what these kids can do with this time if they really put their creativity behind that. So Michelle, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. I love it. Does anybody else want to share some great thing that's come out of this for them or their family? Or something positive that you want to share? Cookie?
I made a mask out of paper towel. I saw it on the internet. And all you do is double the paper towel, and you fold it like a flower. And I put two rubber bands and stapled them. And in case, it was perfect, just in case. So it was
That's
fun.
very creative. That's wonderful. That's creative. I mean, different things are coming out of this, and that is when you have a lot of time, and you're too bad you can't sell those, but I don't think they're
The paper.
yeah.
But and I also enjoy looking at all the jokes and what people send, because if you get a good laugh, I mean, it's worth a lot to
Yeah.
laugh.
There's a lot of humor. I have my college friends have a thread, and every 10 minutes I get another funny meme from them. So it's like a whole entire thread of like hilarious, and it definitely changes your mood. I'm glad you brought that up, because humor is definitely something that changes the channel for us. And if you are feeling sad and panicked, put on some music, listen to some, funny video, or, humor, laugh, call a friend, do something to change that mood. Um, but on the other side of that, there is some real fear and panic here, and we have to be able to be with all of that as well. We can't ignore it. We can't push it away. On last week's call, we talked about how to deal with those feelings, how to cope with when you are feeling that panic and fear. So we don't want to push it away, because when you push that away, what ends up happening is that it just stays there. So there are ways, and if you want a copy, if you didn't if you weren't here last week, just message me, and I'm happy to send you the recording from last week, where we really talked about how to deal with those feelings through your body. But it is important to not push it away, to allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, but then sort of get out of your head by doing something else. I'm not saying distracting yourself by drinking or eating, but there is a way that you can be with your feelings and then move on. I'm just reading the chats. I think we'll take an outdoor furniture cushions today. And yeah, there's a lot of projects that you can do. So why don't you put in the chat, because I can't hear from everybody. If you want to just take a second to put in the chat, maybe a project that you want to work on, a small thing, or a goal that you have, or I'm doing a lot of online workouts now that I've never done before. Something new that's come out of this that's positive. So take a minute. You can open the chat and just put down, cleaning my basement finally, vision board, mudroom closets, basement. Anybody else want to?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Mine doesn't. But I could say it on YouTube because I'm a big mouth. On YouTube, there's a lot of learn to draw things. You want to learn to draw a flower, you want to learn to draw a cityscape, and it's free. And if you just want to take, a drawing class, you know, it's a great thing because you just concentrate on the paper and the pencil, and everything else is blocked out. So that you want to learn to paint, you can do it on the internet. There's so much on YouTube that you can do just to get your mind off of where you are. So if, like in Moonstruck, when it snap out of it, you have to snap out of it. So that's what you can do. Just go to another source of what you want to learn. Because when you learn something, it helps also when you have to concentrate. So I find that very, very helpful. I learned how to draw flowers and things. It's mundane things, but it's interesting. Doodling is great. Just to learn how to doodle and see how people do it with dots and dashes. I mean, silly things like that get your mind off of it. So you can, just
Well,
redirect your mind.
yes, and some people say that might even be meditative. When you're just doing one thing and you're focusing on that one thing, and your thoughts aren't all over the place, you're sort of in like a meditation, where you can just be in that, mindset of drawing or painting or beading. I see Pam is here, and Pam has beading. She's waving. Pam has and I'm sure that's also something very meditative that you can do, beading necklaces. Does anybody have any other ideas for what they do for meditation? Isabel, are you trying to talk? I'm
I
unmuted.
am Jody, but I don't think it can be heard.
Yeah, now you can. I unmuted you.
Oh, you unmuted me. No wonder why. No, I've been walking outside to my favorite iTunes songs. I find it much more relaxing than talking on the telephone. And I write in my journals to my grandchildren. So I find writing very relaxing. But basically, I'm in freak out mode, as you know.
I know, and it's hard, and especially for people that have anxiety and that, this is really bringing up a lot of stuff and triggering you. But it also is a good time to get involved in things that you would have never gotten involved with before, like meditation, like yoga, like beading or painting or walking, things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. And if you throw yourselves into those things, you can kind of, and turn off the news, you can sort of put that, aside. But I do think for people who are in, quote, freak out mode, doing more knitting, I see someone wrote. You can do some activity that keeps your mind centered. If it's not, meditation, it's just an activity, and making a schedule for yourself where you can, schedule your activities, because we're getting into like days on end here. And if you're just, without a schedule, it can be very difficult. So I'm glad you're doing that, Isabel, and hopefully that Chrissy.
This project oriented person in general, and so I've been sort of tackling various small projects, whether like I was going through photographs that I had of my parents, that I've been meaning to go through literally for years, and now I've been going through and pulling them out, and I'll have them digitized so I can send to my sisters and stuff. And then just cleaning out file cabinets that have things that I don't need anymore. So it's a distraction, and it's nice. So it's just like one of the distractions. It's just sort of cleaning out stuff that I probably wouldn't do until we moved from here. And so I feel like I'm doing it now to kind of, plan for that, which will probably be in just a few years. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just sort of trying to do those sort of things, which, gives you some sense of accomplishment, I guess, also, in the midst of all this.
Right. And cleaning out things also makes you feel lighter, right? Don't you feel so good when you throw things away?
Totally.
You feel so good when you get rid of things. So that is definitely, little projects around your house, one thing at a time, really can make you feel good. So that is great. We have so much time at home now. We really should use it wisely, right? Does anybody else want to share before we start the meditation of what they're doing to occupy themselves, to make them feel better, to, somebody who's on the phone? And I think you can raise your hand. Oh, Sabra. Wait, no, you have to unmute.
Sorry. Hi, everyone.
Ah.
Well, before I tell you what's working for me, tell you what's not working for me quickly is my kids are really not behaving. So if anybody has any advice for that, send it my way. Anyway, I feel like in the beginning, when we didn't know how long this was going to be, at least in my head, I was thinking in the future a lot, and I was finding myself not in the present moment. But now that this might be a little while, I'm finding that to really be in the present moment is helping so much. And what I mean by that is I'm not like living thinking like, oh, when this is over. I'm living thinking, this is it. This is my life. Sort of like as though imagine there would be like an alien that landed on the planet right now and didn't know anything, like where we were, coming from or what happened, and just observed what life is like right now. So I'm trying to just live my life right now instead of being like, well, in a month when things are better or when things calm down or, whatever the case may be. And I'm feeling like that's helping me just mentally not be all over the place, but actually like be living sort of here in the present. So that's what I'm trying to work on, and it's working, it's helping. But the thing that's not helping is the fact that my kids are fighting so much all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine having young kids at this point. I really feel for everybody that does. Pam's nodding her head, I see. I can't imagine entertaining them, constantly. So I really hats off to you guys who are homeschooling. And, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I really have compassion for yourself because it's not easy. And I do teach a lot about self-compassion, as the people who take my courses know, because it's so important. And especially during this time, being kind to yourself, and having gratitude for what you do have. Saying to yourself, as we did on the last call, the mantra, I am okay today, knowing that you're okay in this moment. Because we don't know what the future is, and we just have to live it day by day. And we always make up stories in our head that are usually much worse than what's going to happen. So staying present and accepting all of your feelings, not pushing it away and not being like, I can't believe I'm feeling like this again. What's wrong with me? Just really allowing yourself to feel that. And I'm going to do a meditation now that I'm actually going to read you a poem which it really resonates with me. It's called The Guest House by Rumi. And I've done that, many times in my groups, but I really feel like during this time, it's important to accept everything that you're feeling and not just pick and choose certain emotions. So let's close our eyes as we start the meditation. If you want to pop your camera off, that's fine too. But closing your eyes, starting to breathe, and feeling yourself relax. Noticing any tension that's in your body. Breathing into those areas that you are finding some tension. Trying to give some space around those areas. And really just relaxing your body with your mind. You can even do a quick body scan going from the top of your head, relaxing your face, relaxing your eyes in the socket. Parting your jaw slightly. so it's not clenched. Relaxing your torso and your legs. And taking a moment to just notice what it's like to feel unplugged from everything except for the Zoom call. And just think about the one thing that you're grateful for in this moment. Because gratitude leads to joy. Now I'm going to read the guest house. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. And when you hear the bell, you can open your eyes when you're ready. So just slowly coming back, opening your eyes. Beryl wrote my favorite poem, appropriate in these times. Anybody want to just do a quick share or what you've gotten out of today or how you felt about the meditation? Jesse, I'm going to unmute you. Wait, hold on. Wait, start again, unmute you. I'll do it. I can't do it. I don't know, maybe we're pressing it at the same time. I can't hear you. Sorry. Okay, does anybody else want to share while Jesse's trying to unmute? Could the meditation be a little longer? It felt short. Yes, it was a little short, but I was trying to keep these to a half an hour. So that's why it was short. I can do a longer one next time. Thank you, Amy, for your input.
I think I unmuted.
Oh, good, Jesse. Yes.
I loved that reading because as an adult, as various things were happening in my life, my mantra became everything happens for a reason and at the right time. And it absolutely changed my being and my being able to cope with many more things than I could before that. Instead of panicking when something bad or seemingly bad happened, I right away said to myself, okay, this is happening for a reason. And it just calmed me. And I've lived with that for many, many years. So that spoke to me, your reading today. So thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we have to, what we can't control, whether it's happening for a reason or for not. I think thinking of it as happening for a reason is very helpful. But some people, don't believe that, or it's not happening for a reason, but whether it is or not, it's happening, right? So the more that we resist what is happening, the more stress that we will get. So it's not that we have to like what's happening, but we have to be with what's happening. And that's what the guest house kind of explains, is that we may not like it, but whoever comes, we have to welcome it because they're already here. So they're coming. So we have to learn how to deal with it. It's almost like we can't control what is happening, but we can control how we respond to it. So thank you for sharing that. Any other last minute or summary, what you got out of today? Any questions? Okay, so I'm here to support you guys. If you are struggling and you do need a little bit more, you want some private attention, please reach out to me. I'm happy to support you. And I'm glad that you all participated today. And I will try to do these weekly. So I hope to see you then. And please reach out. Thank you. And if you're not a member of my Mindful Moms Facebook group, join that because I post a lot in there about all that stuff. Thank you, Grace, Amy, people who had written in the chat. And if you want a copy of this, just reach out to me and I can send you the link. So thanks for coming, guys. I know it's a tough time. Hang in there. And we got this. Okay? We got it. Bye, guys.